So my number two is The Associate from 1996, directed by Donald Petrie, starring Whoopi Goldberg, Diane Wiest, Eli Wallach. Quick logline: a comedy about making it on Wall Street. Prejudices are hard to break, and Laurel Ayres quickly learns that in order for people to take her seriously, she has to work for an older white man or be one. So
Cheeky little log line there.
quite good,
I
actually.
like that. Yeah, it should be on the poster or something.
Yeah. So I put this movie on my list. I mean, obviously it's a fun romp and we'll get into it, but you're talking a lot about the rule book. I think this movie is about sort of breaking that rule book.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really about sort of your own passion and drive for entrepreneurship. And you can take that in all aspects. Like it could be as extreme as what Laurel Ayres, Whoopi Goldberg's character, does, where she basically quits work, starts her own thing, things aren't working, and assumes a fake identity to then move that forward. Or it could manifest itself in much smaller doses, and I really abide by that in order for something to make sense to me and push through it or motivate myself or motivate the team in small ways or in big ways, you have to be in charge, I think, of your own destiny in a way. And you have to be entrepreneurial in that sense. And this could manifest itself, like I said, in smaller ways where you're just problem solving things. Or sometimes you have to take a step back and relook at your life, that the journey that I've been on, is this the one that motivates me? Is this true to me? And if not, then you make a change to it. I've always believed in that life is short and we have to make the most of the time that we spend, and work is a big part of that time we spend. So it has to matter. It has to mean something. And you have to push through in that sense. I think this movie represents that to me. Additionally, it's also about, not buckling down. People might tell you you're this, you're that, or not give you what you think you deserve. And of course, there's no shortcut to hard work, and you have to be good. But over that, you also have to demand it, I think. I would not necessarily do what Laurel Ayres does in this movie. Like, I do value my own honesty and dignity and such a little more than this character, I would say. But I think you have to demand it. And that's something that I feel like for me will always be a work in progress. I've always been the person that, yeah, if you do your job well, other things would happen. And I still mostly believe in that, but I've learned as I've grown older that you also have to demand what you want. And I've become much better at that than I used to be in my 20s. But I think there's more I could do there, because people are not just going to hand it to you.
Correct. Yeah, no, I think that, well, first of all, I had not seen this film before, so this is the first time. Take a look at it. I'll talk about what you were just bringing up and the themes, and then we'll get in a little more into the film. But yeah, I agree with you that this movie is very good at capturing we can call it entrepreneurial spirit, but it's that work ethic side of not taking no for an answer, asking for what you want. If you don't get it, okay, I'm going to go over here and then get it. And she ends up getting it on her own, and it being running a successful financial management firm. She wasn't able to navigate the company she was at. Obviously, there's a lot of, gender and racial politics in that too, which I think the movie does a great job of acknowledging, but not dwelling on or making it that about that specifically. It's more in a general sense of, you have to ask for what you want. If you don't get it, then you go off and you create that on your own. And I think that is how I've gotten better too over the years in my career of focusing on that aspect of not just thinking anything's going to come to me. Oh, I put some certain time in here, or then the promotion's going to come, or, oh, people can recognize the work that I'm doing, I don't need to draw attention to it. No, you do. And then also knowing when, if you're not going to get what you want from where you're at, making that choice. Okay, fine, I'll just go somewhere else then, because you know what you want. And I think she's very clear what she wants. And what I liked about the message of this film too is the ending of the movie and what she is trying to actually accomplish, which is not just, okay, I want to work my way up the corporate ladder, and then maybe she does this, disguise or act or what have you, and then at the end of the movie, now she's in charge of the financial firm that she worked at. It's like, no, no. She's started her own thing and stuck to what she believes in, and she saw the issues or the barriers that existed for women, and she created her own space where that then other women could flourish, like the secretary that she hires in
Mm-hmm.
to the film. So she's not conforming to the current structure and the current path. She's creating her own path and letting that path also be another one for other people to follow that might also feel like they're shut out of how these other institutions work. I know this is a remake of even a remake. I think the story's kind of old, but I was watching this movie and wondering if this was a movie set in the 80s, whether the ending would be more of, okay, well, now she's going to get a VP level role at the company she was at. And then she's like, yeah, I got it. And then that was sort of the end of the movie. And I like that it wasn't that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think potentially maybe if it was earlier in terms of when this was made, maybe they would have done that. But I really did like the message of the film and where she found herself at the end. I thought that was a pleasant surprise. Because I was like, okay, is she just gonna go back and then get her old job back or something? But they give her a raise. But no, she's still, I started this thing. Yeah, I lied about having a partner in this business. So there is some of that too. But no, this is the path I'm on. I respected that about that character, and also how the filmmakers handled the story.
Yeah, I totally agree. Because ultimately, it is also about self-worth, like whenever I'm interviewing, they always say, what are your salary expectations? And I'm always like, well, I want to see what you think I'm worth. What am I bringing to the table? And after we've had all the conversations about what this role is about and what do you expect of me and such, and now you spent 8-10 hours talking to me, in many ways, yeah, it is about money, I wouldn't lie, but to me it's much more about how do you see me, what do you think my worth is? And I think what Laurel Ayres is kind of fighting for, yes, it's about success, it's about the big contracts and all of that, but I think it's more about self-worth, that can I make a space for myself? Can people see me for who I am and the talent that I have and the work that I put in? Because she's not seen that way at all. Even though she's doing all the hard work at the corporate firm, she gets no credit. And to me, it's always about that. Like, I just want the acknowledgement. I don't want anything else, really. I mean, I'll take the money.
Sure.
But it's not about that.
No, and I think there's another character, I can't remember the actress who plays her, but she's more of like the sultry woman.
Bebe Neuwirth.
Yeah, and she's been successful in how she's navigating, but even though she is smart and they demonstrate that in the film, like she knows what she's doing, but she can't get recognition for that value. She's only valued for her look, so that's how she's chose to navigate her path up the corporate ladder, is just literally just use the fact that she's very attractive and she's charming, and that's what's getting her up there, even though she's worth more than that. And she comes to that revelation too at the end of the film, and I think Whoopi Goldberg's character, through what her actions and what she's demonstrating too, sort of proves that to her. Like, you don't have to put up with, just because people view you in this way, you actually have more than value to that.
Exactly.
And you should own that instead of run away from it. And I think that was an interesting, again, point where it does talk, obviously there's a gender dynamics to play here, but the movie's not dwelling on it too much or making it about that. It's just there and you can see it. And that's, I liked how they were handling the themes here, because this definitely could have been very easily ham-fisted women, blah, 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 like hitting the message of the film on the head a little too much, where it sort of sometimes gets, I find, the message can overwhelm the film. But here the message was clear, but they did it in the story and the characters. They weren't beating you over the head with what they were trying to say, which I totally agree. Pleasantly surprised too.
Yeah, which is why this movie is on rotation in my list, because it's just such a fun movie. I'm a big Whoopi Goldberg comedic movie fan. Like, she just has such an amazing ability to kind of be human and vulnerable, but irritated, but smart, but has something interesting to say. It's always that unique package. Nobody does irritated better than Whoopi Goldberg. I think it's just such a fun thing that she does. And then, you mentioned Diane Weiss's character. What a great foil to Whoopi Goldberg. Like, their chemistry and relationship.
Who gets laid off too.
So amazing. Like, you root for that. And there again, like you said, it's very subtly shown that, like, this is complicated because, yes, they're both women, but Whoopi is a person of color. Versus Diane Weiss is an older woman who's at a sort of a lesser, quote unquote, job as a secretary, who's not valued as somebody like an executive might be, especially in those times. So they both have their own battles with the system, or you could even say men, but also between each other, because Whoopi doesn't really see her. She's
Right.
not even in her view, and Diane Weiss calls that out, that you don't even see me. You talk to me pretty rudely and such. And so I love that how the two of them also connect and come together. Like, it's not just because, oh, we are women and we both are, not getting what we want, so let's just join hands. They have a journey to kind of see each other for who they are. And it's really the work and the hard work. Like, Diane Weiss kind of proves her worth. She gets in a meeting that Whoopi Goldberg is trying to get to through her contacts, and Whoopi Goldberg is able to do that, and Diane Weiss gets her a slot. And that meeting slot changes everything. So she proves her worth. So you see lots of different kind of struggles, but also different work ethics at play. Who's the lady from My Big Fat Greek Wedding, the mother?
Oh, yes, right.
Yeah, she's the publicist
name, yeah.
kind of lady. She's using her power in her own way, like she's not the attractive sort of bombshell person like Bibi Newworth, but she also has a lot of clout on her, and for her power is being in the know, being there first and such. So you see lots of different work ethics at play, and overall it's just a fun movie. It's a great New York movie, and the whole hijinks of Whoopi Goldberg transforming into a white man brings back Mrs. Doubtfire vibes, which is so fun. And I mean, it's not the best makeup or any of that, but I just love the gag of it, the whole thing. And Robert Cuddy, is I always smile when I think of Robert Cuddy.
Yeah, the film for me didn't actually work as well, I think, as it did for you in terms of I didn't find it really that funny, and the plot got kind of a little boring. But I kind of wished actually the disguise element. So she makes up her silent partner. She makes up a silent partner for her firm to get recognition and basically meetings, because it's an old white man. She pretends that, and then eventually she has to dress up as this old white man to show that he actually exists, instead of just some just person on the end of a phone line. I thought the makeup, first of all, I was like, is that actually her under that? And then I realized, oh no, that is actually her. It looked to me like Donald Trump crossed with George Washington. The way that she looked, it was very fun. I mean, obviously it was supposed to look funny.
Donald Trump is in the movie.
And Donald Trump is in the movie, and he tries to act too, which I'm like, don't give him lines. Like, just have him give one line like in Home Alone, instead of have a whole little scene and a fun funny bit, or attempted a funny bit. But that was definitely very dated, having Donald Trump in your film. But yeah, I thought the messages of the movie, especially under this lens of work ethic, to me worked more than the actual execution. Like, I appreciated the intent and how they handled this plot, and I think actually this movie would be a great one to be remade now. And you could take the same premise of a silent partner, where you have to, I mean, I could see it being in a startup environment in Silicon Valley instead of being in New York. You could take this same premise, I think, and do a lot of really interesting things on it, and maybe be a little more well executed.
Except it would be hand-fisted, and it will be ruined, I think.
Hopefully, yes. I know that would be. I'm saying if they could carry it like this sort of very good balance. But no, it was fun to watch. I mean, I also really enjoy Whoopi's '90s run of comedies. This is one that I had never seen, so it was nice to visit. And I think a lot of the messages really resonated with me in terms of the work ethic piece, like the not taking no for an answer and knowing your self-worth, I think, are two really important parts of what motivates you and drives you in terms of the work world.
Yeah, totally.
Hey there, it's Alex. If you like the review and discussion Karan and I just had, make sure you subscribe to our channel, Movies That Shaped Us, to get full episodes. Every other Wednesday, Karan and I cover a topic around important people, places, events, and moments in our lives, and then explore it through 3 of our favorite movies. Subscribe right now, or follow our podcast on Spotify or Apple Podcasts via the link in the description below. Hope you join us for the journey.